What's up, guys? Captain Rice here with another video. This is Autopsy Simulator. Graphic nudity. There, I think I got the nudity filter on. There's corpses and stuff, so if you're not into that, don't watch this video. So let's just go ahead and get into it.
Dr. Jack Hanman speaking. How can I help you?
Good evening, this is Kate Brooks. I'm not sure if you remember me. A few weeks ago, we talked about an article I'm working on. It's about your wife. I dropped by last Friday to speak to you, but you weren't working at the time. I asked the security guard to pass on a note for me. I would like us to discuss the topic of...
I thought I had made it painfully obvious for the last time. No! Please don't call me again and stop inquiring about my wife. Damn journalists. They don't let me work. God damn it. I'm not in the best frame of mind to record a lecture for my students now. I'm feeling completely broken.
Ugh, mouse sensitivity is way too high. Drop that a little bit.
That's this time.
A little better. Okay, so we need to find the bathroom. This one.
Okay, time to pull myself together.
Sweet, sweet drugs.
I need to set up the camera first.
Okay, it is blurred. Thank you.
I need to fetch the camera.
Where is the camera? From the storage room? Who keeps the camera in the storage room? What the hell's wrong with you people? Out of order.
Now remember, Jack, don't forget, hit the record button this time.
Yeah, Jack, don't forget.
Hopefully the tripod is going to hold up.
Camera place on tripod. Oh, thank you.
Now, I just have to get everything in frame.
Frame. Frame.
November recording for medical students from the University of Missouri. This autopsy is conducted by Jack Hanman. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the autopsy room. Today, you will have the dubious pleasure of following a full autopsy, step by step. For those of you who have already performed your first autopsy, this will refresh your basic knowledge. In turn, for those whose knowledge is only theoretical, I advise not to watch this after a meal.
Take a look at the chalkboard. Okay, I'm at the chalkboard. That chalkboard? There's a lot of chalkboards in here.
Let's start. Always wear an apron, mask, and gloves. Goggles are a must when the job is splashy. And in case of sharp accidents, it's worth having disinfectants at hand. It's true that you won't get ptomaine poisoning straight away, but if your liver or kidney aren't doing well, you may end up with diarrhea.
Aria. My camera's like aimed all weird. There we go.
The cadaver is placed on its back on the autopsy table. The pathologist stands on the right of the deceased. Make sure that all the necessary tools are always at hand so that you don't have to run around looking for something, like I do all the time. In the process of revealing and securing forensic evidence, it is difficult not to interfere with the original condition of the deceased. Written and photographic documentation plays a vital role throughout the entire examination process.
They're taking photos.
Be patient, inquisitive, and
cool.
Remember that
Thank you. No, back off.
Now, onto the police folder. That will contain all sorts of pertinent information as to who the deceased might be and what potentially happened to them. So, let's take a closer look, shall we?
All
The
right.
deceased was found on the outskirts of a parking lot at a gas station, where he often begged and
You're doing my
persistently
job
offered
for me,
drivers to
Mr.
wash their car windows.
Talkative. Shut up.
The body was noticed by a station employee during the morning shift. Initially, he thought that someone had thrown some boots and a coat in a nearby ditch. It took him a moment to recognize the pile of clothes as the body of a man. He worked most of his life at the local port dealing with unloaded cargo, He was fired for being drunk and starting fights. His son runs a hardware store on his own. His wife left him years ago. They both had no contact. Signs of libation were found around the body. Empty bottles, traces of an inept attempt. The deceased's name is Tobias Chambers. Local, that's it. It's worth remembering the context around the scene of a death. This allows you to better interpret any traces
gloves.
found on the body. I shouldn't start the pursuit. Now it's our turn to take some pictures for our files. If I can just remember where I left the camera. Aha! There you are. I knew it was here somewhere.
Oh, did you know?
As I mentioned at the beginning, before we begin the internal examination, we need to document the cadaver and the condition it arrived in. We begin with a full body photo. Try and stick to the top-down rule, but let's keep in mind it's all about the legibility, not the perfect frame.
Top down rule.
Voila. Now we move on to the next step, looking for traces. Take your time. Look at the corpse from different sides, from different angles, up close, and from a distance. You're looking for anything out of the ordinary.
Take photo.
The boiler yield wound looks old. I'll take a closer look later. Some wounds in the feet and signs of frostbite, probably because the subject's shoes were too small.
You don't say.
That's something interesting. It will be necessary to check whether this injury was severe enough to cause damage to the brain.
Which means I get to cut open the head. What else? What else? I flip the guy over? What the hell?
Hardened hands.
There it is.
By physical work and frostbite. In a moment, we will check which of our initial observations will be worthy of further consideration. But before we get to that, I need to write down some basic data.
Photo board? Photo board? Photo board? Four-door board? Four-door board. Four-door Ford? Ah, this is the photo board. Get started. Perform the autopsy.
Personal information. The deceased was unclothed. Date. Okay. As you can see, I note everything down on previously prepared forms. Every pathologist must keep a detailed record of every step of the autopsy. This not only allows you to track the procedure, but also collates the results together, upon which you may back up your conclusions. So, enough of the boring prep. Let's begin by taking a closer look at the spots I photographed earlier. For this, you're going to need a magnifying glass.
A magnifier glass?
Scalpel, scissors, syringe, magnifying glass, knife. I guess I forgot to clean the knife.
Fools.
Which spot first? It looks like a burn mark. No doubt painful, but it's not pertinent for this case. Here we can see frostbite on the fingertips. We can tell by the characteristic skin color.
Right. Yep, we know the color of frostbite. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Definitely a painful mix of frostbite, abrasions, and blisters. Old Toby had been wearing shoes too small for him for a very long time. That's if he wore any at all.
Great. Moving on.
Confirmed the presence of ecchymosis on the deceased man's head. The appearance indicates the intravital nature of the wound. Add alcohol, which I can clearly smell, and this was an accident just waiting to happen. So
Great.
a lot of superficial wounds, but only one serious injury to the head. Let's go back to our notes.
Back to our notes. A clipboard mannequin. Clipboard mannequin. Highlight the previously found wounds on the clipboard mannequin. Clipboard. How does one pull up the clipboard mannequin? Dahira?
My old but trusted centrifuge. Ideal for all the fluid tests I need to perform during
Uh,
an autopsy.
I had to look at the controls. It says shift.
First, I mark the location of the entry, the head wound.
Ecchymosis.
Important, even though this type of wound were not in if Toby's
I
body.
mean,
was
it's
cold
very
for a
similar.
prolonged period. The frostbite could have resulted from the various types of accidents are a common cause of death. This is of no interest to considering the conditions and the nights have been particularly nasty lately. We will check if there are any signs of freezing internally. Since the deceased clearly smelled of alcohol, I'll add alcohol poisoning to our list.
Okay. This is very similar
We still
to
have one thing left from the basics. Rigor mortis. Well, we take our deceased by the hand, gradually re-raise it.
oops. Mortuary assistant, except for it's a little more detailed.
Now let it go. As you can see, the hand falls loose. What's the conclusion? Death must have occurred more than 72 hours ago. The police information appears correct. Head trauma seems the most promising, so we'll start there. For this, I need an oscillating saw. The cut is made from ear to ear.
Oh, I was supposed to be wearing goggles.
After which, we remove the skin and the top of the skull. After the basic examination, we can see that the brain's cerebral gyri in both hemispheres are symmetric. The brain looks good. Let's take a cross-section. Some pathologists prefer to examine organs without removing them. However, for me, it's much more convenient to examine, which we'll do now. Holding a long, narrow blade knife in the dominant hand, we slowly cut the cranial nerves on both sides, all the time pulling the brain towards us. So far, so good.
Okay.
Hematoma seems to have had no effect on the brain.
Interesting.
We can rule the fatal accident out as well.
Okay, so fall is
The
not.
brain is in good condition, so we have no choice but to proceed to the internal. I grab a scalpel from my kit. The incision should be in the shape of a letter Y. We use a deep cut to reach all the way to the ribs and to pen. All right, now we peel back and separate the skin.
With what?
Now, we need to remove the ribs. We'll need the loppers for this. Quite a satisfying crunch, for some anyway. After removing the cartilage tissue, we instantly notice two things. Firstly, there is no congestion of the internal organs. This means that although the deceased was hypothermic, it didn't kill him. Secondly, the deceased smoked like a chimney. So, you can see widespread black and tarry deposits. Despite the tragic condition of the lungs, Alice smoked too. It didn't kill her, but, lungs. It had
Yeah, lungs with extensive black-gray deposits, visible inflammatory changes, and excessive distension of lung tissue caused by cigarette smoking.
What now? The syringe. Now's a good time to collect some samples. Specifically, 3. From the 5 milliliters from the left ventricle should do it. Vitreous humor analysis is very useful in indicating long-term alcohol abuse.
Did they actually do that? That
But
sounds
bladder
terrible.
brought about 10 milliliters of fluid. Now we take our samples to the centrifuge. But before I do that, I need to find my notebook. My dyscalculia means that I always double-check the settings. Please excuse me while I run and fetch it.
Notebook. Office. I don't like that I can't run.
This whole thing is covered in stains. I should check this out under the microscope sometime.
Ew, no we should not.
Let's get back to the examination.
Okay, to the centrifuge.
All of the samples into the rotor. Now, we set the appropriate time and speed.
15 minutes, speed 70.
Okay, let's roll.
Okay. Do.
Shit, the fuses again. Where were we? Let's see what we got here. Everything's separated as it should. Our lab is closed until tomorrow after the last, incident. However, considering that Toby's favorite eau de parfum appears to be ethanol, I'm guessing the results won't surprise me at all. Let's go further. We will now focus on the cardiovascular system, specifically the heart. We look for dark hypoxic areas, clots, or other elements that stand out as abnormal. At first glance, the heart looks fine. The pulmonary trunk and aorta seem to be in good condition.
Sorry, I'm playing with it.
There are no pathological changes that would have contributed to Toby's death.
Cool.
Now let's take a closer look at the stomach.
Oh, my bad.
Size is normal, healthy, pink color, and as expected, the stomach has no major external damage. We must now cut it open and inspect inside. We will do it carefully so that its contents do not spill out. We open the stomach along the greater curvature, from the heart to the pyloric end. Oh, I already feel like there's something left inside. Okay, large amount of gas, small amounts of yellow, grayish food content, resembling some kind of meat.
Ew.
Either our deceased hadn't eaten in days, or the bulk of his stomach had already found a way out. Looks like I'll have to find the missing contents.
Okay, so does that mean I'm like gonna run the bowel? That's
One is
gross.
obvious. And the other is... it couldn't have been suffocation, could it? I'll add this to the list and move on. At first glance, the trachea looks normal. Same result as with the stomach. The external inspection doesn't tell us anything. This time we'll cut on a tray.
Okay. I guess we're cutting
Such a
open that too.
small organ as the trachea. We must make a precise incision to be able to cut with the very tip of the blade. We must hold the scalpel as we would a pen. And after careful examination and deduction, we've got it. A clogged trachea. It's time to summarize the whole thing.
Alright, return to the autopsy.
Based on the report and preliminary documentation, it's safe to assume that the deceased passed out after consumption of alcohol and then fell asleep on his back.
Respiratory tract blood by vomit.
The gastric contents refluxed and flooded the airways, causing death. That's why we don't forget about the recovery position at dorm parties.
Great.
And now it's all clear. The mystery is solved. But for us, this is not the end. First, the dead body needs to be cleaned up.
Captain Rice.
For this, we will need to close the body and grab the needle. First, and then I'm using the baseball stitch technique. This stitching method is very strong and quick to do. Beautiful. Now we say goodbye to the deceased and put them safely in the fridge, ready for the next stage of their journey.
How does one put him to fridge? Oh, you're not gonna let me actually do that part?
God, I'm tired. I'll drop these samples off at the lab on the way to the bar.
Head to your car in the parking lot. But there was a dude out here just a second ago.
I don't feel like drinking alone today.
Okay. We did our first one. Good job, guys. Hello. Who are you? Oh no. I just played the. Run away. What is a skeleton's favorite snack? Spare ribs. No. Okie dokie, chapter 1. Was that just the end, the prologue?
Forgive me. What? Fuck.
That's what I do every time I wake up too. Fuck. In the bathroom.
So much light everywhere.
That's not the bathroom. Where do you keep your pills?
This won't help with my hangover. The fucking phone.
I want to answer the phone. Hello.
Okay. I know I'm late. I'll be there soon. It's not like the dead are impatient.
Jack, no.
Alice? Who is this?
Who are you?
Charlotte Graves.
Oh. God, I'm sorry. I didn't recognize you. I thought it was work calling.
It's okay. I hate it when work calls me at home, too. How is everything? We haven't talked since, you know.
Well, there are good days, and there are bad days. What can I say?
Yeah, I'm gonna skip this conversation. It's a long, like, just groveling. His wife is dead.
I should probably find something to send. Alice and Charlotte in Amsterdam. It would be better if Charlotte had this. It deserves to be on display and not hidden in a drawer.
So yeah, Alice passed away.
Go to work. I'm seriously. Some days, I just feel like setting fire to all this paperwork. I'm fed up with it.
And she was a teacher. A lot of backstory. Bye, apartment. We love you. that one. Is the mailbox downstairs? Can I use the elevator? I'm so confused. Hello? Oh. Oh. I went down one flight of stairs and then I have to walk the rest of the way. This is dumb.
Standard correspondence consisting of bills, advertising leaflets, and pious reminders about the upcoming end of the world. Standard correspondence consisting of bills, advertising leaflets, and pious reminders about the upcoming...
Mushroomer?
Standard correspondence
Oh,
consisting of bills...
never mind. I know. There's a mailbox outside for mailing. There's a lot of dialogue. And me being me, I like to listen to it.
I hope this helps, Charlotte.
Goodbye.
To go.
Which car's mine? This one?
Damn, I forgot my jacket. Well, I'll brave it for tonight. Too bad. And fresh. At least it's peaceful here.
Go to the office. I'm in the office.
Good
Or I'm...
evening, Mr. Ridley. Has Stephen delivered the body?
Mm-hmm.
Did he leave it where he usually does?
Uh-huh.
As always, it's a real pleasure.
If you say so.
Bye.
Some corpses have more personality than this guy. Christ. Who leaves the window open in the middle of November? So I'd better check the answering machine.
Yes, I'm happy to,
Hi, Jack. I dropped by a little early today. I left the body with Ridley in the corridor. He wasn't sitting in the locker then, so maybe he'll even throw him into the room. Well, how are you doing? Yeah, I mean, it's your first birthday without her, and...
oh dear.
This, I still have a hangover, and you know me, I run to the, fucking furball. And, she asked about you, so answer your... This time it's not a reprimand for being late.
That's par for the course. I wonder when this clown will learn to look under his feet.
Inspect my muffin.
Birthday. I actually forgot it was today. Alice baked me muffins like these. Maybe later. I'm still hungover, and it might tip me over the edge.
Yeah, no. We don't need muffins. Muffins are bad. Kidding, they're really not bad.
I need to order another batch of these. I've got to remember to do that later. Ah, man. I remember you. You were on that talent show. What was your name again? Stephen laughs at me for recording everything. He says I have a bigger collection of stuff like this than most of the creeps he's caught. November 21st, 1991. Time, 9:13 p.m. The autopsy is conducted by Jack Handman. Lecture for the Medical University of Missouri. After yesterday's lecture, you should already know the ins and outs, so today we'll be consolidating our knowledge. So, where do I start? That's right, police folder. Ah, yes, Samantha Barker. Now remember, there's probably going to be a lot of chatter about this. Found in her own apartment by police patrol. Officers were when questioned. Friends admitted that Samantha's last days during the interrogation, a friend of the deceased admitted that after her first album became...
She's on a lot of medication.
The deceased was found in her own apartment. As you can see, the body is fully clothed. Therefore, before we move on to photographic documentation, we must... Okay, now we can continue with the examination. Again, begin by taking photographs of the cadaver. I guarantee that over time, it will cease being embarrassing for you. First, we photograph the whole body. And now, any suspicious-looking marks or wounds. You don't get such bruises from a normal contusion. Yes, I've seen this many times.
Yes.
Well, there's even more here. Interesting. Very uneven. We need to investigate this. A few we will need to look into here.
Okay, so hang up our photographs. Get started.
Notes prepared. Time to take a closer look.
Magnifying glass. Tools.
The number of bruises suggests that there may have been some kind of tussle.
Hustle.
Such bruises are caused by either a very heavy blow or by some internal issues.
I'm gonna have to put up a warning at the beginning of this.
And here's something interesting. The skin of the deceased is covered with numerous blisters. Some of them are ruptured. Others still contain fluid residue. Some furrows have imprinted more strongly, others less, as if someone was,
Decided.
More numerous blisters. We have some leads to investigate here. Let's write this down. Given the condition of the deceased, it's on the neck of the deceased. Currently, it's difficult to see in general, although it's easier to have abrasions on your feet. But the number and size of the blisters suggests that it's probably examination. A severed spine. After I'll add but to be checked in the lab later.
Okay, so possible causes of death, third-party involvement, suicide, overdose, or alcohol. Again, trigger warnings will be put at the beginning of this video, and I apologize in advance.
But first, I'll check for external traces. For this, we use the good old UV lamp. I look carefully. The area around the head is empty. Torso, empty. Legs, there's nothing here. The left hand seems to be fine. Right hand clean. Well, nothing to surprise us here. Now gently, we take the deceased by the hand.
Yes, rigor mortis check.
And we check for rigor mortis.
Oh, I gotta do it again.
Again, the hand falls freely. Since we don't have a definitive lead, we will examine all the key organs one by one.
Oh, good.
So, I'm starting the internal inspection. I dissect the skin of the deceased.
Did I miss a spot? That was pretty good. Oh, yep.
And I proceed to deflect the skin flaps.
Ew.
With yesterday's body, the deceased has only trace amounts of adipose. What do we have here? Or rather, what don't we have
here?
There is certainly no sign of internal bleeding. Before I disembowel the deceased, I will take samples for toxicological tests to determine the alcohol content in the body. I just need my syringe. Just to be sure, I'm taking samples from 3 organs: the eyeball, the heart, and the bladder. Analysis will rule out, or confirm, alcohol poisoning as the cause of death.
I don't think it was alcohol. What do you guys think?
I'll transfer these to the centrifuge.
Notebook from office.
15, 70, 10, 75? Numbers have never been my strong point. It's probably
Oh.
why I regularly forgot birthdays and anniversaries.
Fuck you, guy.
Lucky Alice always forgave me.
Creepy fucking dude. Fuck you, dude. Okay, notes. 15 minutes, 70%. I can remember that. I don't know what your problem is, guy, but I got it.
Gently does it with this old thing. Handle with kid gloves. I'm starting the centrifuge. Let's see what results come out. The laboratory is already open, so... Fucking hell! Ridley! Mr. Ridley! The fuses need resetting. Where is he? Fuck it. I'll do it myself.
Ooh!
First the right, and then the left. And voila. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Ira.
Jack Hanman speaking.
Easy, why so rude?
Steve? Sorry, man. This place is falling apart, and Ridley won't even lift a finger to help. You just can't work here.
Did the centrifuge trip the fuses again?
Yeah, eventually everything's gonna go up in smoke.
Look on the bright side. It's a free cremation with your autopsy.
Jesus, stop it. That shit pisses me off.
Okay, sorry, Jack. Anyway, I'm calling to ask how the autopsy's going. Soon there'll be journalists sniffing around for info, so best be ready.
I'll whiz through this in a couple of hours. It doesn't look like a complicated case to me. More of a formality. The report will be available in the morning.
Sounds great. Thanks. Phew.
Well,
Holy fuck.
what?
Quiet.
A 3-car police convoy was involved in an accident near Pete's Bay Bridge while transporting prisoners to Orleans Parish Prison. At the moment, we do not know the exact number of victims or whether any of the convicts escaped. However, the scale of the accident indicates a large number of victims, possibly even fatal ones. Police are on their way to investigate the incident and secure the area. We know that the injured prisoners are on death row. The police were to transport them to their execution, which was to take place tomorrow morning. Many of them are very dangerous criminals. We will report on the matter on an ongoing basis, so stay tuned with us.
Steven, was Red Pete one of the passengers? He was, wasn't he? What if he survived?
Jack, I have to go. You want me on site?
What if he survived?
I gotta go.
Okay, so something. Oh shit.
Calm down.
Something with this Red Pete dude and the wife.
Pills. I need, yes. Nothing's going to happen.
No, it's not taking pills. For the record, you've been wearing those gloves to do an autopsy. And you're just
Christ.
popped pills with the
I've got to get back to work.
kind of gross. Okie dokie.
Technical break. At least I know I can pursue a career as my own but trusted ideal for all the fluid. My own but trusted centrifuge.
I'm
Ideal for all
trying.
the fluid tests. All right. Let's see if we were able to get anything out of this piece of crap. And miraculously, yes, the samples did spin. I'll transfer them to the chromograph in the lab.
Great. Opens the door.
Let's load this up. I placed the test tubes in the rack. Now, just take 5 milliliters from each. Precisely. And the next.
Okay, we're doing good. 10 milliliters of fluid.
More.
This part's a little tedious, but
We put the prepared sample into the machine.
enter.
The results indicate that the deceased did consume alcohol shortly before her death. However, this is not an amount that could cause poisoning leading to
Even
death.
so, okay.
Just slight inebriation. I can return to the body and continue the rest of the examination.
This place gives me the
Lab
fucking
graph
creeps.
results show that we can eliminate alcohol poisoning from our list of potential causes of death. However, remember that alcohol can affect the functioning of the entire body. It disturbs the heart rhythm,
alcohol is not
its
it.
rate, and dilutes the blood, which may result in more severe bleeding in the event of an accident. Also remember that alcohol affects the metabolism of drugs in the liver. I'll take samples from the liver and the heart to test the concentration of barbiturates in the body.
Barbiturates?
That's enough. I'll do the test later. I'd best not try my luck with the centrifuge right now. Now I remove the liver.
Liver. I grabbed that. I did. This is gross. I need tools. I'm confused.
No
Not broken.
lesions. However, it is slightly enlarged. Perhaps it's a slight inflammation or drug-induced damage. It may also be the result of the deposition. Let's check the weight of the.
Oh, we gonna put it on a scale?
The weight is 1,300 grams. The liver is enlarged.
And we're gonna cut into it. Yay!
I'll move on to a cross-sectional study. Perhaps the enlargement is the result of early cancerous changes. The blade glides through smoothly. I don't feel like no steatosis or cirrhosis. The liver is actually quite clean inside.
Great. Hey. Fuck you, man. Leave me alone. Let me do this.
The
I'm gonna do my
liver is
job.
basically healthy. We already know that the deceased didn't abuse alcohol. The question is, what about drugs or other substances? I move on to the heart.
Oh.
At a glance, we can see signs of a heart attack. The deceased is definitely too young to have a heart attack due to natural causes. The liver is enlarged, not from alcohol poisoning, and the heart looks like it has collapsed. So, I guess we need to go to the centrifuge and check for these barbiturates.
Again with the centrifuge. Mark damage to the heart. Barbiturate overdose.
Hold of these drugs. The last time I saw this kind of poisoning was a few years ago. He was a middle-aged guy. He took his medication and forgot about it. So he took another pill. He forgot again and took another one. And another one. Until he took the last one. That's why it's better to have amnesic drugs in boxes labeled with the days of the week. This sort of thing rarely happens anymore. Doctors tend to prescribe benzodiazepines. They are safer, but still shouldn't be combined with alcohol.
10 and 75.
We close the centrifuge and pray that it doesn't trip anything again. It looks like our luck is in. We can take the samples to the lab now.
To the lab again. Hate the doors.
Okay, 2 samples this time.
All right, 2 samples this time.
6 milliliters each.
The slow motion things, just let me do it. Come on, get the pipette and put it in the thing.
Well, let's see how much of it we find. Nothing surprising. Significant amounts of phenobarbital metabolites of hepatic origin. Looks like I'll have to check the contents of the deceased's stomach.
Okay.
The tests showed that the collected blood contained enough barbiturates to cause cardiopulmonary collapse. The question now is whether it's an accident or
Due to
deliberate act.
overdose. Good. Very expression.
I'm proceeding to examine the stomach. Before extraction, I ligate the entire organ to prevent its contents from spilling out. Okay, I'm now cutting out the organ, which will move to the board for dissection.
There's precise cuts here. Don't me.
The stomach and intestines are full of surprises. But not this time. We see remnants of undigested food and a dense mass of pills. You don't take this many drugs by accident.
So we're ruling suicide then?
Length and width normal. No obvious pathological changes. Undigested drugs found in the stomach of the deceased. The direct cause of death was probably an overdose. I'll check the rest of the organs. Lungs are normal. No lesion. The deceased's trachea is normal. The deceased's intestine is normal. No clear pathological changes. Abdominal cavity checked off. We can check the brain.
I didn't know I could zoom that far in. I gotta cut open the head too.
I make a cut to open the lid of the victim's skull and remove the brain.
Where's my goggles? I feel like I need goggles. Oh, it's a brain.
It's normal. No obvious lesions. Alright. I need to dissect it on a board.
Okay, I guess we can cut that open too. We're just mutilating this at this point.
Using a knife, I carefully cut through the brain tissue. As expected, the deceased's brain is in excellent condition. No discoloration or changes due to hypoxia. There is still the matter of the marks on the neck. They look...
Okay, the safety goggles.
I think the goggles were in the desk drawer. Alice. saw. Oh, I know. I probably left it in the basement after its last cleaning.
The basement? Nobody wants to go in the basement. Aww.
Mr. Ridley, I need a key to the basement.
It's in the social room.
Why is the key lying at the... never mind. Thank you.
Hey, Hammond. Did you hear about the convoy? Maybe you'll get a chance to relive your glory days and catch Red Beat again, huh?
Let's hope there won't be any need for that.
Hopefully.
If only he could put that much enthusiasm into his work.
That's storage.
I get the feeling that searching through this rubbish is more pathogenic than working with corpses.
Key.
Please, may this be the last trip. Fuck. Why did the prison convoy have to get into an accident? Jack, take a deep breath.
I don't think you can control who gets into accidents, bud.
Really cool
Just saying.
breath. Nearly finished with the autopsy. Then
All right, well, we're going to the basement.
rest. So, I'll check. Fuck! It's jammed! Doesn't anyone do maintenance around here? Damn hatch. Damn red bees. Ah.
Our boy is a very angry man.
Forgot this thing was standing here. It would be easier if I put things away properly. Damn student lectures and their
I think I need more pills. Think you need to take some more pills, dude? Yeah, we need to take more pills, dude. Alright, let's make a pit stop in the bathroom. Oh, it won't let me take more pills. Okay. Fine.
Sorry for the short interruption. I hope you all took the opportunity to grab some coffee. And now that I have everything I need, I'll move on to revealing the spinal cord.
So messy. Glad we're wearing goggles. Oh, A.
The spine is removed.
This is a completely empty body.
Calm down, Jack. Take it easy. Take your pills.
I tried, you wouldn't let me. You were holding us on. I guess that was a problem. Jeez. Hey, we good. We're all good. In the hood.
I can see that the spinal cord was not severed. This shows that apart from the marks around the neck, hanging didn't negatively affect the condition of the deceased. Ladies and gentlemen, almost over. Now, to sum up and tidy away the body.
Alright, so
The direct cause of Samantha Barker's death was a heart attack resulting from an overdose of barbiturates. Traces found on the body suggest that the overdose was a deliberate act, following a failed attempt to hang herself. The autopsy found no evidence or genetic materials indicating that death could have been the result of an attack. Third-party involvement must be excluded. Autograph, and we can start sewing.
oh, I'm out of ink. Man.
In the 1950s and 1960s, the use of barbiturates for suicide was actually quite common. I think it was most talked about after the death of Marilyn Monroe. At home, it was a help and comfort. On death row, well, we're done for today. Thank you for your attention. Tiring day. I can feel those hunger pains coming on. I guess I'll have to pick something up along the way.
Yep, sure will. Thanks everybody so much for watching. This has been interesting.
Nightcap will do me good.
Very, very detailed game. Very, very incredibly.
Good night, Mr. Ridley. The police will pick up the body and accompanying documentation in the morning.
Just
Sure.
I guess there are actually
wow,
things in this
lots
world
of things here.
Death and Ridley's reluctant attitude.
But yeah, thanks everybody so much for watching. If you like this content, make sure to hit that like, subscribe button. We'll see you guys in the next video.